The observation deck of the Galactic Coalition station hummed with the usual evening traffic when Captain Liara made her decision. She looked down at the small Quality cub sitting cross-legged on the cold metal floor, his amber eyes fixed on the viewport showing Earth's moon in the distance. "Rinner," she said, crouching beside him. "How would you like to come with me to my homeworld for a few days?" The cub's ear tufts perked up, his striped tail swishing with sudden interest. "Earth? Your species' origin planet?" "That's right, it's a special time there, something called Christmas. I think you'd enjoy it." Rinner had been aboard the station for 3 months now, ever since the Krolathi territorial conflict had orphaned him. The Coalition had placed him in Lyra's care temporarily, and in that time, the human captain had grown fond of the curious, intelligent child. His species was feline in appearance, covered in silver and black fur with distinctive markings that changed color with his emotions. "What is Christmas?" Rinner asked, standing up. He barely reached Lyra's waist. "It's a human tradition," she explained, smiling. "A time for family, giving gifts, and celebrating together. There's someone special I want you to meet." 2 days later, they stood in the snow-covered yard of Lyra's childhood home in northern Canada. Rinner had never seen snow before. He had never felt cold like this, despite the thermal suit Lyra had gotten for him. His eyes were wide with wonder as he caught snowflakes on his paw, watching them melt. "Lyra." A voice called from the house, and an older woman emerged, wrapping a thick shawl around her shoulders. "You made it!" "And this must be Rinner." "Mom, this is Rinner." "Rinner, this is my mother, Sarah." The cub performed the Krolathi gesture of respect, pressing his paw to his chest and bowing his head. Sarah laughed warmly and knelt down despite her age. "None of that formal stuff here, sweetie. We hug in this family." She opened her arms. Rinner looked at Lyra uncertainly. The human captain nodded encouragingly. Slowly, the cub stepped forward and allowed himself to be embraced. Shara's warmth, her gentle strength, reminded him of his own mother. His markings shifted to a soft blue, the Krolathi color of contentment. Inside the house, Rinner discovered a wonderland. A massive evergreen tree stood in the corner, covered in lights and ornaments. Colorful packages wrapped in shiny paper sat beneath it. The smell of baking cookies filled the air. Lyra had explained cookies to him during the journey. But smelling them was something else entirely. "What is that?" Rinner pointed at the tree with his tail. "That's a Christmas tree," Sarah explained. "We decorate it as part of our tradition. Would you like to help me finish decorating it?" Over the next hour, Sarah showed Rinner how to hang ornaments, explaining the story behind each one. There was the wooden spaceship that Lyra had made when she was 7. The glass snowflake from Sarah's grandmother. The photo ornament of Lyra's father, who had passed away 5 years ago. "We remember the people we love at Christmas," Sarah said softly, seeing Rinner's markings shift to purple, the color of sadness. "Even when they're not with us anymore. My mother used to sing to me," Rinner whispered. "Before the conflict." Sarah pulled the cub close. "Then she's here with you, in your memories. That's what makes us strong, carrying the love of those who came before." On Christmas Eve, Lyra's siblings arrived with their families. Rinner met 3 other humans, 2 human children, and even a dog named Max, who immediately befriended the young Krolathi. The house filled with laughter, music, and the controlled chaos of a family reunion. But Rinner noticed something. The children kept whispering about Santa Claus and looking excited. Lyra had explained the legend, during their trip, a mythical figure who brought gifts to children. "It's just a story we tell," she had said. A fun tradition. That night, after the children, including Rinner, were sent to bed, the cub lay awake in the guest room. Through the walls, he could hear the adults moving around, whispering and laughing quietly. His enhanced Krolathi hearing picked up snippets. "Under the tree, think he'll like it." Sarah's idea. He smiled and closed his eyes. Even if Santa wasn't real, he had something better, a human family that had welcomed him. Christmas morning arrived with fresh snow and the excited shouts of children. Rinner bounded down the stairs with Lyra's niece and nephew, his markings flashing bright gold, the Krolathi color of pure joy. The family gathered around the tree. Sarah handed out gifts, and Rinner watched with fascination as the children tore into the wrapping paper. He received gifts too, a thermal blanket that adjusted to his body temperature, a data pad loaded with books about Earth, and a hand-knitted hat with holes for his ear tufts that made everyone laugh when he tried it on. Then Sarah reached behind the tree and pulled out one final package. It was larger than the others, wrapped in silver paper with a blue bow. "This one," she said, her eyes twinkling. "Is from Santa Claus, for Rinner." The room went quiet. Rinner's markings rippled through several colors as he carefully approached. His small paws trembled as he unwrapped the package. Inside was a memory box, beautifully crafted from earthwood, with intricate carvings of stars and moons. But it was what lay inside that made Rinner's breath catch. A photo of his mother. He lifted it with shaking hands. It was her, exactly as he remembered, her markings showing the bright green of happiness. She was young in this photo, holding a tiny cub version of Rinner. "How?" he whispered. Liara knelt beside him, her own eyes wet. "I contacted the Coalition archives. They had records from before the conflict. Mom had the idea to make this for you a place to keep your memories safe." Beneath the photo were other items, a data chip containing Kralathi lullabies, including the ones his mother had sung. A piece of cloth from his home district, preserved. A handwritten letter from Liara, promising to help him remember where he came from while building a new future. Rinner's markings turned a color that no one in the room had seen before, a shimmering rainbow that rippled across his fur like aurora lights. It was the Kralathi expression of overwhelming emotion, a feeling so much that a single color couldn't contain it. He clutched the box to his chest and looked up at Sarah, then at Liara, then at all the faces watching him with gentle smiles. "Santa is real," he said softly. Sarah laughed through her tears and pulled both Liara and Rinner into a hug. "Maybe he is, sweetie." "Maybe he is." Later that afternoon, as the family sat together watching the snowfall, Rinner curled up against Liara with his memory box beside him. The human captain wrapped her arm around the small cub. "Thank you," Rinner whispered. "For bringing me home." Liara kissed the top of his head, between his ear tufts. "You're always welcome here, always." Outside, the snow continued to fall on the quiet Canadian landscape. Inside, a Kralathi cub learned what humans had always known. That family wasn't just about blood or species. It was about the choice to love, to remember, and to make room at the table for one more. And in that moment, watching Rinner's markings settle into a steady, peaceful blue, Liara understood why humanity's greatest strength had never been their technology or their warfare. It was this: their infinite capacity to extend kindness to those who needed it most. That was the real human spirit. That was humanity, fuck yeah.